Welcome to your magic moon message. This is the peace dealer. I teach about the stars and the planets, representing Infinity Gang, the crew of infinite beings, limitless and omniscopic in their nature. Shout out to Danny. Thank you for that insight. Other than that, welcome to the full moon that will not only complete this new moon and first quarter square activation and integration, but if you go back 6 months from now, the eclipse we had in November of 2022 was very, very key, where Jupiter, I think, was retrograding back out of Aries, or what, it was back in Pisces at that time. But that really coincided with the conclusion of the evolution cycle with Jupiter relative to other conclusions. Before I really go in, the moon in Scorpio is very, 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 intense. And though, people who don't have that much control over their emotions, especially relative to a full moon, can project a lot of their insecurities or just, emotional turbulence on you. So don't necessarily take it personal. Flip them off. Let them know they can suck your dick. Give them a fuck you. But don't necessarily, make it any more serious than that. People who have unresolved negativity, demons, darkness that they may have swept under the rug, that's all coming out. Versus if you didn't spiritually bypass and you did actual shadow work, well, now you're harvesting the results of that, especially in a transit like this that is about manifesting natural energetics relative to your body. These things aren't necessarily measured scientifically. And so the best way to deal with this is working on your psyche. And when you have unreleased emotions, unresolved emotions, they clog up your chakra, line network, or really just the energy flow, like a hose that's clogged. So the full moon is not only completing that relative to 6 months ago. This is not only the completion of the eclipse in Scorpio, this is the completion of the North Node Taurus transit since 2021. So the analogy for that basically was grounding on your physical body after the North Node in Gemini changed the direction of your mindset to anchor this unlocking of pure energy. And this is akin to realizing, oh shit, you struck oil in your own land. Taurus is land, okay? And so you struck oil. And so from Taurus to Scorpio, you were literally developing your land. Scorpio eclipse, oil, bitch. Scorpio back to Taurus is now through Aquarius taking the wisdom and depth of the oil, because when you have oil, you have to convert it. If you think about a certain dictator who wasn't able to use their oil because he kicked out the engineers of his country. And so he was sitting on oil, but he didn't have the knowledge to understand how to transform that oil into something marketable or usable. That is the analogy from Scorpio that has to understand Aquarius knowledge to convert to Taurus. This intangible sense of value that becomes real. And of course, in a gas station. So we have completed the process from November back to Taurus, and we did it again, but of now completing this Taurus eclipse, you have officially struck oil 6 months ago, and you have brokered a deal with gas pumps so that you can return on your investment by this Libra season and Scorpio season. And that can mean a whole bunch of things for a lot of people. What this is really going to instill is a psychological release and unlocking of every single inhibition that you've had. And most of this is unconscious. It's not necessarily something that you're going to be aware of. Boom, until now, where this full moon is going to completely release this. And over the next week, as we harvest this quality of energy, you're going to notice increased strength, increased awareness, strengthened quality of discernment, ability to analyze and psychoanalyze body language and habits. And this is all based on the work you put in, because we're getting ready to reap. So of course you reap what you sow. I have a magical word for you. Once again, for this Taurus season, all you have to be like is, my life is perfect. I'm not a millionaire, billionaire. I'm an infinity-aire. That's it. You can say any version of that. You don't have to make it complicated. Every reaction to every situation, you just want to maintain that state. This is what you're harvesting. And I have another special magic word, especially with the moon that's trine Neptune. You can use this for whatever effect you might gain from it in any situation. M. Night Shyamalama Lama 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 Lama. Say it with me. M. Night Shyamalama Lama 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 Lama. There's a motherfucking twist for this full moon. Trust me. Anyway, other than that, this really coming into the 180-degree opposition, which will happen tomorrow, as the moon is 1 degree Scorpio right now. So we are concluding the integration. This wisdom is transforming the effects of the actions you have taken to integrate this value. So personally, to me, everything that we have really worked towards, you're not going to see until the moon in Sag. You're understanding the vision. So a lot of this is going to hyper accelerate even further. And with Uranus as a factor, there are qualities that you are harvesting that you couldn't even have begun to imagine were even possible. So this is the beginning of harvesting the quality of your energy and strength. The pure wisdom is unlocking with the South Node intangible psychological understanding that will help you be more aware of the physical quality of your body. Once again, be very mindful, because you have a lot of insecure fucktards out here, and insecure people need someone to feel better than. So, you know, this brings a lot of energy vampirism, where you're leveling up of your own confidence and quality and value of yourself does not necessarily enable weaklings to leech off of you. And the mind can backwards rationalize any reason to make sense to people why they do the dumb shit they do. Our enemy is not people, but to the extent that people are puppets and vessels of bullshit, they're no worse off dead than alive. That could be very extreme, especially with the moon square Pluto. But this energy of revolution is going to remind you that all is fair in love and war. That being said, let's talk about the Uranus opposition. Before we really break that down, the moon is going to, of course, trine Saturn in Pisces. The square that the moon made to Saturn in Gemini, blow, tested your beliefs relative to thoughts you were activating so that you can affirm the true value you were manifesting. This enabled you to step into Cancer so that you can reinforce that passing of the test to move in the direction of the right way to feel, to strengthen those beliefs. Now, Libra quincunxed Saturn so that in integrating this value, you can transform these beliefs through actual practical application. And the moon in Scorpio trining Saturn versus the moon in Cancer is strengthening the depth of how you produce these beliefs in this element of harvest, which is going to feel like more energy and power that you didn't even know you had. Especially if you're Pluto Scorpio, this is like unlocking latent energy within you. And this is what, as you harvest this, will prepare you for Gemini season so that you can develop magical abilities based on this increased capacity of energy and ability to harness energy. So that trine to Saturn is very important, because this, with the wisdom you will be receiving. Let me tell you, Moon in Scorpio is going to deliver. You're now going to gain more metaphysical insight into how to reinforce your beliefs, because now you're producing receipts, and we're not even in receipt season yet. But this is the initial grounding. This is an extension of Moon in Cancer. You have to stop comparing yourself to other people who use primitive traditional methods that have nothing to do with you. Most of what scientists study with anatomy and biology are outdated as fuck. Even if they use cutting-edge technology, the rapid accelerated rate of your development outpaces anything scientists and scientific tools can measure. The higher quantum or causal or astral elements of your mind and body cannot be measured by science. It is not possible for scientific tools to even measure if you can use 100% of your brain. So the whole notion and burden of proof of them trying to explain that you use 90 to 100% of your brain is bullshit, because they're facets of your mind that cannot be measured. And they do not factor in chakra consumption and utilization. They think that shit is a fairy tale and a fantasy. So be very mindful of that, because there are unconventional mechanics behind how you can manifest situations that go against the need to even do traditional things like working out, like studying, like working, period. You want to be able to work smart and work hard. And if you don't even know basic magic coming into this new world, you're going to get wasted. This is going to start off with a revolutionary magical war where if you don't know how to defend yourself from psychics throwing shit at you, you're going to get diagnosed and think you just have some mental illness. Amateurs. This is very important. And if you're waiting for peer-reviewed research institutions to make sense of this for you, you might as well just go within. Some of you are afraid to go within because you are desperate for insight and approval of other people for what they think about what you should know about yourself already. You are not going to survive in the world we're entering. So just trust yourself. Scorpio teaches trust. Taurus is your value. The purpose of the beginning of this harvest is to trust your value, because you are going to unlock very pure wisdom. But if you give in to the ways of the world and worldly wisdom that will convince you that the pearls you have are useless because these are swine telling you, then you will have given away your birthright and gained the world only to lose your soul. Just like every other loser who flashes their money, jewels, and friends, even though they don't even really feel happy and it's just a show to pretend so that they can make more money. Losers. You are not a loser. And this is your opportunity to harvest the pure element of your energy so you can break through the illusion and lie that has been told to humanity since the beginning of civilization, but not in a conspiracy way. Remember, your enemy isn't flesh and blood. You're dealing with unseen principalities, rulers, evil spirits, and fallen angels. And I hope that sounds crazy as fuck to some of you, because this next week alone is going to be crazy as fuck to all of you. Don't get distracted by the current events. Focus your mind on what's within, and this is what brings us to the Uranus opposition. The Saturn trine is going to strengthen your beliefs. The Neptune trine is going to blow open through synchronicities very deep psychic understanding of how to imagine beyond your current circumstances. Bars! And so the Uranus opposition is going to complete the conjunction we had with Taurus with an unconventional and very supernatural manifestation of the quality of your energy. See, the power was last month and the supernatural abilities is next month. This is the quality of energy that can sustain such abilities. And this is where you're going to be feeling like Dragon Ball Z, like Hunter x Hunter. Get to know the quality of your energy, and this wisdom that you unlock, especially relative to how it reacts to other people, will start to help you understand this harvesting of extra dimensional qualities of your physiology that are not going to be normal, because you're you and no one else is you. That's your motherfucking superpower. I hope you enjoy this full moon. This is definitely going to challenge you. If you think shit is sweet out here in these streets, you have everything to be grateful for, but do not get caught lacking. That square to Pluto, even though it's going to be at the beginning, is going to very intensely remind you of the intensity and negativity that you have the opportunity to transmute. But definitely don't let it compromise your pure values, because we going in. And this is definitely set to be a bountiful harvest. So really pay attention to the pure quality of energy and wisdom that you will discern, not through English or any other languages, but through the purity of your heart, Don't cheat yourself out of this, and try and fit in so that you feel comfortable. Embrace the struggle and trials that come with being yourself, and stay blessed as always. Peace.